Recently, the Lord has really been, he's got me captivated by the fool. The Bible has so much to say about the fool. And it's fascinating to me. One of the things that Jesus taught this parable, he said, the ground of a certain rich man yielded an abundant harvest. He said, the guy thought to himself, what shall I do? I have no place to store my crops. I'll build some bigger barns. I'll tear down these barns. I'll store my crops and I'll say to myself, like, look, I've got plenty. I'll eat, drink, and be merry. And then the Lord said, thou fool, this very night of you, your soul is required. And what, like, everybody else is going to get the stuff that you laid out. And Jesus said, that's how it is for a person who lives their life when they're not rich toward God. And so, like, we think about the fool, and the Proverbs say so much about the fool. And I think that when we think about fool, we think about an idiot, somebody being stupid. But the Bible has a completely different definition of fool. It says the fool, Psalm 14 says, the fool has said in his heart that there is no God. And man, I think we're like, oh, whew, I don't say there is no God. But that's not what it says. It says the fool says in his heart that there is no God. So a person who is living foolishly, like a believer can live in a foolish way. Like we could say, well, yeah, I believe there's a God. Well, you know, the scripture says that even the demons in hell believe there's a God. And so like believing there's a God, that's not it. It's to live like there is no God. And so it's not that we don't say that there's no God, we live like there's no God. And so when I start to think about that, I start to think about, man, to avoid foolishness, I've got to always live like there's a God. And man, that's challenged me in my thinking about how I go about my workday, about how the things I have to accomplish, like everything that is ahead of me. Like the fool would say, I got to get that stuff done. But the person who is not living a foolish life would go, man, I really need to seek the Lord out about this because he will help me get the things done. I have to live like I believe that God is there. I react to situations. I step out in faith like I believe that God is there. And that keeps me from living like there is no God, which is foolish. And I always when I'm making major decisions, whether it's a financial decision or, a big, strategy decision within the ministry, I always like to, go, all right, what is faith and what is foolish? Well, I think they're kind of the same thing. Like to be foolish is to live like there is no God. To have faith is to live like there is God. So like when I'm thinking through living life, I don't want to be a fool, man. I want to live like there is a God. I want to look at each day and go, man, the Lord has the ability to make me better than I am. If I will just seek him out and spend some time with him, he can make me better than I really am. He can help me do things that I probably am not very good at just because I'm believing that he is there. I'm believing that he's going to provide. And so I'm starting to try to walk in that more. I'm starting to try to not be a fool. It's my encouragement to you today is don't be a fool. Live like there is a God.